Oh, excuse me. How you doing, Brandon? You doing pretty good today?
Yes, sir. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, fairly well. Fairly well. So, just kind of a little layout how we're going to do this. I know it might be a little bit different. You may have never done an interview on GoToMeeting. Uh, it's a little different. We like to do it for a couple different reasons. It allows for us to be able to communicate and things like that, where we don't have to spend a lot of time meeting up, things like that. But
Yes, sir.
let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Derek Maroon. I am the field service manager for Vivint here in East Texas. I currently live in Longview, but have been with the company little over 4 years now. Started out as a SHP in the field, have worked up to a field service manager. Been a FSM for about 9 months now. Absolutely love it. We have a lot of fun here at work. We take our job extremely serious, but like to kind of have fun every once in a while. Along with us for the ride for the interview today is Victor Lugo. He is actually our team trainer. Um,
Okay.
he'll be part of the interview process with us today. A little bit of background with me. I'm like I said, I've been with the company about 4 years. I'm a military veteran. Did 4 years in the Navy. Uh, love Vivint. Absolutely love it to death, man. I mean, we have a great company that we work for. Um, I'm going to kind of pass it over to Victor right quick and let Victor introduce himself.
Okay.
How you doing, Brandon? This is Victor
Hey.
here, man. Like you said, I'm the team trainer there, bud. I've been with the company for about 2.5 years. Um, I really enjoyed my time here. It's a real good company to work for, man. It's a fast-paced environment, but uh, it's a very cool place to work. So, like I said, I've been here about 2.5 years, and I'm out of the Athens, Texas area. But obviously, uh, I take care of the whole region as far as the team trainer is concerned. So hopefully, we'll get to know you better here pretty quick.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it, Vic. No, a little bit of background on our team. We have roughly 13 guys that on our team, and we range from about the midway point between Dallas and Longview. We go from basically over where Victor's at in the Athens area, all the way over to halfway between Shreveport, Louisiana, and Monroe, Louisiana, and then all the way up to Hope, Arkansas, and as far down as Lufkin. So with those 13 guys, we cover a wide variety of area there. So um, just kind of get started. We're gonna go ahead and ask you to tell us about yourself. Either personally, professionally, or anything that kind of makes you happy and how you are.
Okay. Well, I'm Brandon McAnear. I want to thank you for your service. I too also served in the Air Force, so that's something we got in common. I do have a background in pretty much almost anything. I've done electrical work, working for a local electrician here. I've driven trucks for a long time. I've worked in the oil field. I've done sales as far as like retail. I've worked in Best Buy, right out of high school. Um, and then most recently, I've worked for the glass doctor in Florida. We just moved back from Florida a couple months ago, and still trying to find a footing and find something that's going to be more permanent. But always been in a customer service type field. Even with the oil field, we had customers as far as the people that called us out to the jobs. With the glass doctor, we were in homes, had to deal directly with the customer themselves and explain to them, the reason why they need our product and kind of the benefits of doing some of the work that we had to do. Um, then, or we're originally from Texas. I was born and raised in Odessa. Moved here my sophomore year of high school. Graduated from Spring Hill. Met my wife at Kilgore. Been married a little over 8 years now. We've got two little boys and a little girl on the way. And it's pretty much my life. I take care of them and do what I got to do to provide. Um, definitely a big family man, and I love being around them. So, I mean, that's always important. But I've got a creative background, very artistic, and for I guess a different way to do things. If maybe there's a problem we run into, or having to run wires a different way with this electrical thing, um, even with the glass, I use my artistic abilities towards that too. So kind of like I said, done a little bit of everything. I wouldn't say I'm a master of any of them, but I definitely give 100% every time I turn around and try something new. That's pretty much me.
Awesome, outstanding, and thank you for your service, sir. Do appreciate it. I will tell you, going through this interview process, we will we will ask a series of questions. If there is a delay, please pardon the delay. We are both Victor and I taking notes, so don't think that we've given up on you. Just deal with this. Bear with us for a second, and we'll answer you.
Yes, sir.
So my first question is, how do you feel about working in attics?
Done plenty of it. Doesn't bother me a bit. I've been buried in insulation, and I mean, it's not the greatest feeling in the world being itchy, but it's definitely bearable.
All right. And to go along with the attic question, how would you prepare yourself for working in an attic?
Definitely long sleeves, gloves, some type of protective breathing, and where you're not inhaling that insulation, and obviously something to cover your eyes and keep all that stuff out of your eyes.
All right. What are your recommendations, or what do you prefer as your working hours?
I'm pretty much open for anything. I've been where I've, obviously with this job, I'm not 100% sure that you require, overnight, but I've worked overnight hours, worked, shift work. I'm really open to whatever you guys have to offer.
All right. Let me see. Now, say you're on a job and you know that you have another one after that, or say you're on a job and it's the last job of the day, and it's time to go home, and you see that you're running behind, and you know you're going to be running behind. What steps do you take to? Are you okay with working a little bit late to make sure that the customer's taken care of?
Oh, yes, sir. Definitely. Um, don't like to leave things unfinished, especially when it comes to customer service. Um, in history, or in my history, take example the glass work. Obviously, I couldn't leave with a window out of their house and just say, "Hey, I'll be back tomorrow because it's time for me to go home." I would stay and obviously finish the work, make sure it's presentable, make sure everything's working as it's supposed to, and then after that, after I see the customers happy, then I'd go about either to the next job or end of day, go home.
Awesome. Give us an example of some great customer service that you've given.
Great customer service. Okay. Again, my most recent experience is in the glass field. Um, we had a customer that had ordered some tabletops. Another technician had measured these tabletops. I went to install these tabletops, and it wasn't exactly what the customer wanted. So I made sure that she understood that I could get the exact thing she wanted. Um, the piece of glass that we had ordered was perfectly square, and it was supposed to be shaped. Um, to keep her and to keep her business, I called, made sure it was okay with the owner there. I said, she has another piece of furniture. This piece of glass will work. Is it okay if I leave this with her? I had to cut it, polish it, or cut a piece of it off, polish it, make it look good, set it. And that customer actually called back and ordered several more tabletops and requested that I come out and do it because she was very pleased with the way that I handled the quote unquote mistake that was made.
All right. All right. Um, Give us a idea. Say you tell us of a time when you had a good idea and you've tried to get people to accept it. It could have been friends, coworkers, or anything like that.
I'm trying to think of a specific good idea. Got me in with a tough one here. Um,
There are going to be a couple of tough ones.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, this is trying to think of something. Normally I'm a by the book kind of guy. If something comes available where maybe there's a better way to do something, I'm just trying to think because I know I've ran into those situations. Um, I guess it would be some of my oil field work. Whenever we had, say, a piece of equipment go down and we had to, bring in another piece of equipment, the safest way to maneuver the equipment and everything. We were working in Monroe, Louisiana. It had just rained for like 2 days, so we're working out in a field, farmer's field, where you planted peas and stuff, and so it was muddy, and we had to pull all the equipment around with a dozer. And of course, we had some young kids that, just breaking out in the oil field, had to be safe about it. I had actually suggested that once we moved this equipment, that we shut down as far as a safety reason. And the supervisor kind of talked back and forth with me whenever he decided that was the best idea. We shut down, came back 2 weeks later after the rain had dried up and everything, and we were able to go on without getting anybody hurt, breaking any equipment, and the customer was definitely happy about all of that.
Awesome. All right. Um, Give us an example of one time when you may not have agreed with a decision that the leadership had made.
Um, Installing like a storefront door when I was in Florida. Um, they had an existing door that they wanted to use, a wooden door, and so we had ordered the metal frame to go around it. We went out there and they told us to just make this work. We actually had to drill a bunch of small holes in the metal so that the door would close and latch into that hole. We drilled all these holes, filed it down, and I told them, I said, that is not the correct way for us to do this. I said, we did it the way you asked to, but I don't agree with it. And then later on, the customer called, and we had to go back out there and come up with a better solution. But I did not agree with the way it was done initially.
Okay. All right. Give us 3 words that describe yourself.
I would say creative, ambitious, and loyal.
Okay. And what are your passions? And it could be personally or professionally.
I do have a passion for my family, a passion for my church family. I also have a passion for the outdoors, hunting and fishing, and passing those on to my kids too.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to kind of step aside for a second, kind of let Victor jump in and see if Victor wants to go with any questions.
Okay.
I just I wanted to emphasize what you just said about your passion being the family and how do you manage? You said you were loyal and all that good stuff. This job here can be kind of demanding sometimes, as far as like Derek was saying earlier, having to stay extra. Like it's not like a 8 to 5 type job. There'll be many times where you will be asked to stay over, not necessarily called and say, hey, you need to stay over, but your job itself just, you're running behind, or they put a job on you because you could be doing a job and then look at your schedule and then be like, oh man, I got an extra job put on me. How will you handle a situation like that? Is it something that doesn't bother you, or is it something that and I know being in the oil field, you're used to long hours, but I mean, how are you with just being able to take on that extra task that may be put on you, on everyday jobs and stuff like that?
Okay. No, it doesn't bother me at all. And like you said, with the oil field and everything, my family is also, accustomed to the fact that things happen. Um, we kind of bounce back from stuff like that. I like to just let my wife know, hey babe, I'm gonna be running late today. She says, that's fine. Normally, her being the good wife that she is, she takes care of the kids in the evenings and gets them ready for the following day. So she's real flexible with it. I'm real flexible with it. And my kids have actually become accustomed to it. They know, like, daddy's not home until he walks through the door. And so my family's like real flexible with it.
All right, thanks for that, Brandon.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, Vic. Um, I'm going to ask you now, what are some of your opportunities of improvement? We don't like to say, hey, here at Vivint, we don't like to say, hey, where do you make your mistakes at? Because there aren't mistakes as long as we know that we've done something wrong and we can improve on them. So, what are some of your opportunities of improvement?
Opportunities of improvement. I would say, I guess listening would probably be a good one, because a lot of times when I get to know something, I, I'm taught a way to do something. I think, well, maybe that's the way that it has to be done. And then somebody may come to me and say, hey, there's a better way to do this. If you do this, it'd be probably just being a better listener, and in my personal life too, listening to, some of the, like, my close friends and family, they may have some advice for me that I'm hearing, but not necessarily listening. I'd probably jump out there and say, paying better attention to the details and what people are explaining to me. Not that I'm a terrible listener, but.
And next question, what is your ideal person of leadership? What do you look for in a leader?
Somebody that is knowledgeable in what we're doing, not afraid to admit when they've made a mistake. Somebody that doesn't think because I'm the new guy or the newer guy that I have no idea what I'm doing, even though there may be times where I don't, but for them to be able to go to and ask questions. If I have a question about something, be able to ask them, or seek help from them without them thinking that they're just too busy, or they don't have time for me, or this kid doesn't want to learn, or instead of them jumping to the conclusion that I'm not getting it. It may just be a simple question, a simple fix, and just somebody that I can go to and communicate with, really.
Outstanding. Next, can you rate your, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your organizational skills?
I would say probably around an 8. I'm a little OCD when it comes to things. I like for things, everything has a place. As far as like my personal tools and stuff, I don't leave them laying around. First of all, they're expensive, so I like to keep everything in its place so I know where it's at the next time that I go to it, and it'll be there every time, because I know that I'm really OCD about putting stuff where it's supposed to go.
Alrighty. And on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate technology? Your knowledge of technology.
I'd probably have to say somewhere around an 8 too. I know they come out with newer things every day, but I'm pretty good with computers. Um, I've actually been locked out of a computer and found my way into it. I mean, when you forget your passcodes and stuff like that, there's back doors and stuff to find in there. Um, love technology. It's all over my house. Some would say probably too much, but I'm not afraid of it. And I actually welcome any new technology that comes out.
All right. And this isn't on a 1 to 10. It's just a question. What would you say? How's your inventory management skills?
Inventory management. Again, with my glass experience, we were responsible for keeping up with inventory, having the glass, and there were certain things that they asked for us to carry in our van, storefront glass and stuff like that. Real simple things, common size things, and well, of course, we had inspections all the time, but I definitely made sure that I had everything that was on the list for the technicians to have. And if I had room for more, I actually carried more. So I mean, if it was something that I needed, I knew I would need in the future, or if somebody else needed something, they could call me and say, "Hey, do you have this on your van?" And chances are I had it. So I definitely had a good sense of keeping the inventory where it was supposed to be.
All right. And the reason I ask is because obviously we deal with a lot of inventory, and we just want to make sure that we keep track of it. We do a weekly count on all the inventory on our trucks. So we would just want to make sure that we're keeping track of every single last part. Um, Next question. What would be your biggest challenge of joining our team, our organization?
Biggest challenge. I don't know that there would be a challenge. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like I said, I'm pretty good with technology. Good with people. A team player. Um, when I heard about the job, I was told, I might have to go up, to I think it was like Minnesota or something, and I guess that would be the biggest challenge, really. I mean, spending, time away from the family, but I wouldn't even say that would be an issue.
Okay. Um, yeah, on that, I'll kind of elaborate on that. Yes, the training process for the job is you spend 4 weeks with the team trainer, which is Victor, and after that, you would go spend a week at one of our training facilities, which we do have one in Minnesota, we do have one in Florida, and we do have one in Provo, Utah, at our home and corporate office. And that fifth week, you would go spend there and get your final certification for becoming a smart home pro. But yeah, it's just a week there.
Okay.
Um, gonna can you give us any acts of service examples and our impact that you've had in the community? And we ask this because one of Vivint's core values is Vivint gives back, and we like to give back to our communities. We like to take care of the people that we service, right? One
Right.
of Vivint's big things is we used to do a whole lot of going out and working in the community as far as was it Homes for Humanity or whatever it is, and go help build houses or serve at soup kitchens or food banks and things like that. This past year here in Longview, we were able to. I'm sorry, phone was ringing. We were able to get some money together donated by the members of our team, and we were able to help out a single mother and her young child for Christmas. So just kind of any acts of service or any volunteer work that you've done in the past.
Okay. Um, when I was in the Air Force, after leaving boot camp, we went to. I was shipped to Biloxi, Mississippi, and this was back in 2006. It was right after Hurricane Katrina, and I actually got in touch with a few people off base and volunteered to go around and make repairs to homes. Also, the cleanup was a big thing because it carried on for years. Um, so I volunteered for all that. Yes, some of it was to get off base, but I definitely enjoyed being around the people and being able to help. And then when I was stationed in Little Rock, Arkansas, I actually joined up with Big Brothers Big Sisters and took a child, a young boy that his father was not around, and mentored him, giving back to them, and really enjoyed that. And actually kind of missed the kid, but I've done Big Brothers Big Sisters. I've done volunteer work with my church. When they needed like building renovations and stuff like that, I was able to help them out. I've helped, neighbors whenever they were down and out. They couldn't put gas in their car or they couldn't mow their grass. I would help them out and do that. Like you said, you helped out a single mother. I used to actually mow on a regular basis, mow her yard for her and for her neighbor, which is an elderly lady. Just kind of to help them, show them that I'm there if they need me, to show that I care. That's the biggest thing is they feel alone, and you want to be able to show them that love. But I've done a lot, but there's a few examples for you.
Oh no, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. What are your pay expectations for the position?
Actually, whenever I was speaking with Johnny yesterday, he was kind of explaining, what the position entails, and kind of where it starts at, and I was not even expecting that. Being a new guy, if I'm offered this opportunity, I wasn't expecting it to be where it was. So as far as I've been the low guy on the totem pole before, and start out, and you got to work your way up. And I really had no expectations going into it. I've just heard a lot of good things from people that I know that work for Vivint, and kind of just want to get my foot in the door. So as far as pay, I really had no expectations. Of course, everybody wants to make $1 million, but realistically, that doesn't happen. So I'm kind of open to whatever the company has to offer.
Outstanding. What does your driving history look like?
My driving history, all I understand that is on my record was I believe it was a red light ticket in Florida. I had talked to Johnny yesterday, and there was an accident in that red light ticket, but I believe it went on my record as a red light ticket. The accident was not my fault, but I got the ticket because the light turned red, I guess, as I was going through it.
Okay.
That was, I believe, a little over a year ago.
Okay. What about your background? How's your background look?
I'm assuming it looks pristine because I've never been in any trouble with the law or anything.
All right.
I've actually, I've gone through, when I used to drive, I would drive down to Houston. I had to go and get what they call a TWIC card, where they actually do like an FBI background check on you so that you can go into the ports. And then also with my concealed carry license, I had to do the background check on that. And again, with hazmat driving, I've had it on that too. So, it all comes back clean to me. Of course, I never get the printout, but, they give me the license or the certification or whatever.
Correct. Yes, sir. What would be your ideal start date if chosen to be part of our company?
Excuse me. Yesterday? As soon as possible. I'm working part-time for a guy here locally in Glass, and it is like maybe 3-4 hours a day, and I'm not used to all that downtime, and it's kind of putting a strain on us. So as soon as possible.
All right. And my last question for you is, are you bilingual?
I understand more Spanish than I can speak. It's been a long time since I've actually had to hold a conversation, um, and I know very little Spanish.
Okay.
I've actually I've taken a little bit of Russian, but it doesn't really apply to this area.
No, I don't think too much. That's okay. Victor doesn't know a lot of Spanish either.
I actually can give commands to my dogs in Russian, and they'll actually follow the commands. It's pretty neat.
No, Victor's Spanish, so he knows Spanish pretty well. In fact, I mess with him all the time trying to speak Spanish, and he just laughs at me because I don't know a whole lot of Spanish either.
Yeah, it's probably the enunciation and everything that's funny to them. That's why they laugh at me.
I'm just going to kind of open it up now. Victor, do you have any follow-up questions, sir?
No, not really. He's pretty he's real thorough with his answers, so I really appreciate that. One thing that you have to keep in mind, one thing I want to throw in there earlier was living is real big on telling us to do things a certain way, and then you're kind of set in doing the things the way that we are told, and then just out of nowhere you're told to do something totally different. How do you think you could adjust to constant change and just kind of go the way the company wants us to go? Because like I said, as a company, it's you could be doing one thing a certain way for months, and then just out of nowhere you have to just change your mindset and do something totally different than what you were accustomed. Is that something that you think you could adjust to?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, as long as it's explained properly and I'm able to ask questions about it and get a true understanding, I have no issue with changing a way something's done.
Okay. I got one more question. It's this thing's kind of been bothering me. How are you with keeping your eyes on your telephone / email during your work day as needed? We depend a lot on our devices for communication. We might send you a text. We have message boards that we use. We might send you emails. Not saying that you need to be on your phone 24/7 because then you won't get any work done, but being able to get work done, but also check your devices, pretty regularly to make sure nothing's being asked of you or something like that. How do you think you can handle that?
Well, I've actually have experience with when I'm working with the glass doctor. We use tablets to track our schedules. So they would lay out a schedule for us and attach it to our tablet. We would have to go through mark like we're driving to the job, that we arrived at the job, whether it's an estimate, we measured it, but we didn't quote it or something like that. So we'd have all these different options to put down. And then like if we task completed, you check it's completed. And then you would constantly, you'd want to update that tablet because it would sync with the office and they would be adding stuff to your schedule. Normally they would give you a text as well. I like to have my phone on me at all times, for emergency purposes, stuff like that too. But when I'm around customers, most of the time I make sure that it's, on vibrate or something while I'm explaining something. So it's not, disrupting the customer service, but that way I still have it, I can feel it vibrate and I can take a quick look at it and see, okay, is this something that I need to respond to quickly? And if so, just explain to them, I need to take this real quick. So I'm real familiar with, keeping track of stuff on tablets and cell phones and such.
All right, man. Appreciate that, Brent.
Awesome. I'm going to kind of finish it up and ask if you have any questions for us.
Not that I can think of. I know. Yesterday when I spoke with Johnny, I took notes yesterday. I took some notes today too. So I have most of what I was kind of curious about how everything worked. I guess the only question I would have is, well, I know you guys are interviewing multiple people for this job, or I was told. Just kind of when I would hear something, or would I hear it, if it's a no, this isn't a good fit, would somebody let me know, or how's that process work?
No, absolutely. So yeah, obviously, yeah, we do have a couple candidates for the position, and we should be finishing up those interviews probably by the end of the week. I would say look for an answer, either yes and or no, or no by midweek next week at the latest. Um,
Okay.
if you have any questions or any concerns on that, please feel free to reach out to Johnny. He will be your direct contact with that. And
Okay.
yes or no, there will be a communication involved with that.
Okay.
And just to let you know, we don't, even if it's a no, we don't like to keep you, hanging in the weeds. So,
Right.
just yes, there will be a communication on that.
Okay. I appreciate that because a lot of times you never hear nothing.
No, absolutely. We don't like, like I said, we don't like leaving you in the weeds, man. But even if it's a no, but besides that, man, I appreciate your time today, Brandon. You did a good job. I appreciate you jumping on and taking interest in our company. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Johnny. He will be more than happy to get back to you on that.
Yes.
And besides that, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful day, sir.
Yes, sir. You too.
Take care, Brandon.
All right, I believe he's hung up, Vic.
All right. I went back to the interview.
No, not at all, man. I'll give you a call here in just a second, okay? Let me hop
I'm
off
gonna.
here. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I
No,
gotta
that's fine. I
answer.
was just gonna say real fast.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Call me back later.
Well, yeah, I got a couple guys that are saying they need me right quick. Let me hop off here. I'll give you a call in just a few.
No.
All right, brother.
All
Thank you,
right, bro.
sir.
Bye.